the case of Ratezonal centrifugation, it's going to use the sedimentation velocity principle only. But in the case of isopycnic centrifugation, the name itself, we can say that same density components are going to be separated off. So based on the density equilibrium principle and the sedimentation equilibrium principle, it's going to be separated. That means sedimentation at the equilibrium is going to be separated, and that based on the density equilibrium, that means at the same density and same sedimentation, it's going to be sedimented off. A gradient differs in it because a gradient density is lesser than the least dense sedimenting species in the sample. But in the case of isopycnic, so the gradient is going to be shallow, but in the case of isopycnic, it's going to be steep because a maximum gradient density is going to be greater than that of most dense sedimenting species, or it's going to be continuous or discontinuous. But the gradient is going to be either increased or similar to the sample, but it was least. In the case of centrifugation in the Ratezonal, it's going to be incomplete sedimentation at the low speed and short time, where very fragile component like DNA can be separated. Even though it is incomplete sedimentation, a fragile component without disturbance can be separated off in this Ratezonal. But in the case of isopycnic, where density is going to have fluctuation in the density, where there is a higher density gradient can also be possible. So the complete sedimentation is possible because of the force applied like centrifugal field and the high density cushion force. So it's going to be taken place for high speed and long time. Even a RNA DNA hybrid and ribosomal subunits can be separated by Ratezonal as it was shallow density and incomplete sedimentation. But in the case of isopycnic, a DNA, plasma, lipoprotein, lysosome, even cell components can also be separated by this, and also biomolecules can also be separated. But even it is not accurate as much as differential centrifugation in the case of